You're here with another episode of COVID-19, Franchise Leaders Respond. I am your host, Red Boswell, president of the International Franchise Professionals Group. We're joined today by an emerging brand, but a franchise leader nonetheless, Kelsey Stuart, founder, CEO of Bloomin Blinds. Kelsey, welcome to the call today.
Thank you, Red. I appreciate you having me over.
So you and I were talking, you had some interesting things to share about how your brand has pivoted. But before we jump into that, you are one of my neighbors here, just 7 miles from my home in the Dallas, Texas area. How are you and your family doing?
Yeah, for the most part, we're doing okay. Everyone's clean and healthy. We don't have any fevers or anything like that. I'd say my wife is pretty well. She's experiencing some cabin fever, but the kids are happy. We've warmed up the pool. They don't miss it a bit. They're on Zoom calls, and so everyone's doing well.
Well, thanks for jumping on so quickly. We talked 20 minutes ago, and I said, we got to talk to you, brother. You're doing some cool things, helping your franchisees to the keyword pivot here. How can we change our message, change our marketing, maybe change our services, add services, tweak services? What can franchisors and their franchisees, and frankly, business owners in general, do to handle this crisis and to hopefully not just survive, but even thrive through it? Help us understand first, who is Bloomin Blinds?
So we're a relatively young franchise. We've, as a family, we've been in the window covering space for almost 25 years. We've been a franchise for about 5 years. So still learning how to be a good franchisor. I know how to run a blind company. I'm learning how to be a good franchisor. So
this is trial by fire on how to become a good franchisor, right? So great. So how is this whole crazy process impacting you and your franchisees?
Well, we're a home service company, so we have to be able to get into the homes to do our job, or at least the core parts of it. So it's definitely had some effect to us. Ironically, March was the best month our group has ever had.
And how big is your group?
41 owners, 54 territories, depending on how you want to count it. So we were really hitting our stride. Our owners were developing and growing, and things have been going really well. And like I said, last month, March was our best month ever, even though we had that 2 weeks that at the end. But for us, the challenge is that it's a struggle to get in the house, not only for our own safety, but then also not wanting to create some societal problem by going from house to house to house. And so we've had to really take on a lot of responsibility to make sure that when we do operate, we're doing it well and clean and responsibly. But there's an awful lot of our franchise customers, just our customers, who are hesitant to let us in the house. And so we recognize.
So what are you doing differently now? Nobody wants you in their house. Get it. Totally. Everybody's, any home service is experiencing that. So either you can close up shop, twiddle your thumbs, and get caught up on your Netflix, or you can make some significant changes. What are you and your franchisees doing to make those changes?
Yeah, there's a handful of things that we've done. Kind of pick up from the food industry where everything becomes a delivery service. We have started offering some services at the doorstep. We are unique in the blind covering space or the window covering space because we offer repairs and sales. And typically we'll go into the house and do the repairs, but now we have a handful of customers that don't want us in there. So they'll bring the blind out to us. We'll do the repair outside the house, hand it back to the homeowner, and they've been able to accomplish the goal of getting things fixed.
So they say that you kind of knock on the door, stand back, they kind of set it on their front porch, they go away, you pick it up, or your franchisee goes out to the van or truck, fixes whatever needs fixed, maybe disinfects, and then drops it back off at their front porch and debits their credit card?
Yeah, even to the point of touchless payment. So, you're keying in the credit card versus swiping it now. So, yeah, the whole idea is that you are not creating any sort of cross-contamination. You're giving the homeowner the sense that they're safe and secure, but still making progress on a challenge or a problem in their house. So the repair side, we've, again, like you said, you have a choice of either just shutting down or pivoting and finding a solution.
Now, I imagine repair side is a small percentage. What about the installation of new blinds? I mean, that's your business really, right?
Yeah. So on the install side, there's still the manual component. We still have to go into the house to put this stuff in the window. And so in that case, we're coming in with gloves and masks and everyone's all sanitary. We wash our hands when we walk in the door, and then we certainly wash our hands on the way out the door. But most of our clients are pretty comfortable with just leaving the room, letting us do what we need to do, and then, then we exit. So the installation part's still pretty manual. You can't really get around that. On the sales side, we've been able to pivot pretty significantly in the last couple of weeks. Typically, our sales process is in the house, and we have to present products and take measurements and kind of work people through the choices. And so we've shifted quite quickly to a virtual consultation mode. So now we'll still offer in-house service if people are willing to let us in the house. That's when we can do our job the best. But from a virtual standpoint, we can use FaceTime, or we can use Google Duo, or a handful of other visual apps, and take time to showcase the products, the colors. We can use screen shares for videos and pictures on manufacturers' websites, and still convey that idea of what things are going to look like. Customers provide us with bulk measurements or rough measurements of the window, and then we can actually provide an actual quote based on that visual presentation. Just signed a brand new contract to add a visualizer to our website. So through the Bloomin Blinds website.
Well, okay. So is that the name of it? Visualizer?
That's kind of the technical term. It would be called a visualizer. I don't know if it's just this one company's term or if it's a generic term.
Now, is this something other franchisors could take advantage of? Can you share the name of the company?
Yeah, I'm using a company called Chameleon Power. They've been incredible to work with in light of what's going on. And they have not only done this for other window covering companies, but flooring and tile and exterior housing. There's a handful of companies that provide this 3D rendering of what a product would look like. If I'm a garage door company, they can take it and, show, I could take a picture of my house, and a garage door company could use this company to show what a new garage door is going to look like.
I did an interview a couple weeks ago with Boulder Designs, Butch Mugavera, and I bet he uses the same thing. They have pivoted big time. They'd already been using something like this, but they had been started doing so many presentations, really teasers for the presentation, where they would go into Google Earth. And they got a picture of your home or your business, the drive-by video, right? Mm-hmm. And they would take a similar service to what you're talking about, software, put their stone signage that they create and place it right there, kind of on the front of it, and then take a snapshot of the business, the stone, like you're talking about, and send it to the homeowner or to the business owner and saying, here's what we could do for you. And it was just fantastic, doing a lot of business with that. And it sounds like you're doing a lot of the similar.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful tool. I mean, window coverings is a very visual buying experience. This is a large amount of surface area in your home. You're going to look at it all the time. So for the sales process to go well, the customer needs to get a true sense of what it's going to look like when it's actually done. And so this visualizer is great because not only can we use generic room pictures and put our products on those generic templates, but the homeowner or the customer can take a photo of their own room, upload that into the visualizer, and then apply our products on their room. So not only can they do that on their own research at 10:30 when they're just goofing around, but we can also use it as part of our visual sales process.
Nice.
Really,
And
really
so how did you're the franchisor, you got all these franchisees out there. Did you have to get one license for you or a group license, or did they each get their own license? How did that work?
Well, it's actually based on the website. So because we have bloominblinds.com, and that's where this visualizer is going to live, then we had to, there's the building of the actual product, the engine that makes it all work. And then there's just one software licensing fee.
Outstanding. That's a great benefit for the franchisee. They'll be using this for the next a decade. That's terrific.
I can't call it a cheap solution. I mean, I don't know if you want to get into numbers, but I know what they are. But it's
well, we don't need to get into numbers, but tell me this: were you able to incorporate the ad fund to help fund this, or did the franchisees participate in any way, or is this your benevolence?
this is us. So we're call it benevolence, if you will. This is us paying for it. This is a tool to help the franchise move forward. It was something that we had been looking for a while pre-corona, COVID or whatever. But being the pivot into the virtual model was really accelerated and pressed forward because of where we're at right now. And so it just really brought that visualizer into play even more so. So this is our investment in the company.
Kelsey, I would expect that, I didn't ask you this, I don't ask most franchisors, they can share it if they want, but most are not, and I say most in a weak sense, there's probably at least 60% are not giving royalty relief. You know, royalties are already down. Why give relief? You're a partnership. As their sales go down, your royalties go down. Now, there are some ZORs in unique situations where they're actually giving significant more relief, but you're there. You and your team are working. You just added this additional, very significant technology to support your franchisees. I would assume you're not giving any royalty relief, right?
In a way, we are. So first off, we have three main software providers, and those three main providers are about a fixed $600 a month expense per franchise location, right? So we went to all three of them actually very early. I mean, like the 17th, 18th of last month, we saw this coming after all these changes happened. And I said, I want 3 months for free. Like, you guys got to help us out. This is coming. And on all three companies, I said we were the first ones to ask for help. They have since gotten many phone calls, but they didn't give me the 3 months for free, but they did give me anywhere from 20 to 30% off our fees for the next 3 months. So we got them to kind of knock down the numbers a little bit. And then we allowed our franchise owners to pay us with credit card, and we're eating the 3% fee. So that's a little help. And then this past invoice, or the one that just came due, we gave them a 2-week extension just because everything is kind of up in the air. And then we told them we'd take 10% off if they paid in full by that time of that due date. And we did that partially to help them, but also trying to make sure that revenues come into us, because we have to keep this ship running. And without those revenues, then it can, gets very difficult. So we created an incentive to try and make sure that that they pay on time and that they get the sense that we're on board with them.
Nice.
We have a pretty intimate relationship. When there's only 41 owners, everybody knows everybody really well, and there's no room for us to be up on an ivory tower. So we've really created that sense that we're down on the ground with them.
All right, so I didn't ask your investment range, so help us understand item 7. What's your investment range?
Yeah, by way of the FDD, it's going to run from 67 to 117.
Okay, so lower investment. This is a job replacement franchise. Your franchisees are owner operators. How has it impacted the franchise development side of your business, both on the candidates that were already in process? What's happened there? If anything you can share, and then the new candidates coming in. What have you seen? An uptick, a downtick? Help us understand.
Sure. Definitely had some, like we had 4 new owners scheduled between April and May. All 4 of them have said, look, I still love the idea, just need to see how this washes out. Because it is a job replacement, right? It's a man in a truck model. And so anyone who was looking to come on board was looking to fund their household. We're generally the, usually a husband and wife team, or I think maybe because we're repair centric, but we're pretty male dominated. So there's a lot of headed households. And so we're still in active communication. I've actually got one of them coming for a discovery day. We delayed the discovery day. So there's been a decent amount of delays right off the bat, which is understandable.
How are they generally funding that?
Almost all of them are either working out of personal savings or drawing out a 401k, money from family. We're not really big enough to qualify for a reasonable SBA loan. So it's nearly every one of our every one of our franchisees has had the cash. And
So I'm going deeper on this topic. 401k. How are you when? And you may not be able to say it. That's okay. Item 19. How do you see ramp up going? Is this a model where you could replace your income in 3 months, or is this more like 15 months? How fast can they get ramped up?
well, a lot of that depends on what your income was before, right? So
Yes, so true.
yes, uh, we have really low overhead, and our franchise owners are generally in the black in the first month or two. Um, we're in an industry where we don't carry inventory, and we collect a 50% deposit from the customer, and we order the product from the factory, and we're on a net 30 with them. So we're actually usually able to actually install the final product and get paid in full before we have to pay the factory.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as long as we're in an area that generates volume, we've got the marketing going, guys are doing what they're supposed to. We call it following the recipe. You know, yeah, it's
All right.
most
So,
guys.
so this is. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, first year guys who are doing it well, like not just average, good average guys, can make a good blue upper collar living.
Yep.
And second year, you can make a decent mid-level white
Okay.
collar living.
So if you're expecting, so let's say you hit 90, average 90 all in, plus you got to cover a year's expenses of 60. So you got 150,000 investment. This is red guessing. You don't have to respond.
Sure.
150. So 401k, that's all day long. That's right in the middle of the 401k investment range. So folks invest 5 to get their 401k rollover done and managed. I imagine some of those 401k rollovers, they're holding off on that. They might start looking at SBA instead because of how aggressive SBA is doing right now, and 401ks got hit pretty hard. So you're a typical franchisor in the lower investment space, really making do. You got 4 hot candidates all on pause. What about the new franchise development pipeline? How has that been impacted?
Significantly. We've been able to grow organically and through the portals up until now. So it's ironic that like literally just in the last couple of months, we just started engaging with the broker networks. And so all of that growth has been all through either organic leads to the site, and most of it has been done through portal listings. So we've done all that through portals.
In the past.
In the past,
Yeah.
right? Well, and we still have the portals open, but the volume for us has gone down dramatically. I used to get 10 to 15 leads a day, and now I get 1, maybe 2 at the most. So our numbers have gone way down on the portal listings. And then we're still a relatively new brand with the broker network, so we don't quite have relationships and a long track record with anybody just yet.
Yep.
We do have 2 current prospects that they have told their consultant that we are their narrowed down choice. We are the one. Now it's just a function of figuring out the timing and how to make it all work.
Now I don't know when you came into the broker world. Obviously, there's a significant less financial risk joining the broker network, so you don't have to throw the money out there and hope you're going to get a deal. You put a fraction of that into the membership and some investment in time, and then you get the leads and ultimately pay after the success and the franchise is awarded. Did you decide to enter this space with this COVID crisis, or was this something you joined before the COVID crisis?
So we had joined about So I'm currently hooked in with 3 major networks, and 3 major players in the area are the space, right? And that was all planned or implemented prior to COVID.
Okay.
So we're a fairly small team. My brothers and I run this franchise, and we wanted to be able to scale without requiring more and more of our time. And so we're a big fan of using professionals to create efficiencies. And that's exactly what we wanted through the broker network. We're also at a position where prior to COVID, we were almost royalty independent, like literally 5 to 8,000 a month from being royalty independent. And so having that freedom, we could then rely on another stream of incoming franchisees, and we could give away the commission at a significant level so that it was good for everybody. So I mean,
Wise.
we were almost there.
You will be there
Almost.
soon, brother. You'll be
We'll
there
come
soon.
back. Yeah, yeah.
Yep. Ray Titus, I'm talking to him tomorrow, but I heard him last week share a quote that just, man, it just tattooed on my soul. I love that and I agree with him 100%. He said, um, we fully believe that in the last 6 months of this year, we'll do 12 months of business. You know, there's a pent up demand that's incredible right now.
Yeah, we've done all this growth in a really good financial market, right? And again, I'm relatively new in the franchising world. I'm not some stalwart, but I've always heard that the man in the truck model does really good when money gets tight. And so while I'm not really looking forward to a recession, I'm not really scared of one either.
So when money
we'll
gets tight, I'll define that tighter. When the job market goes south, that's when franchising does well. Yes. So tight money's not a good thing. We want good lending. We want open lending, and we're seeing that massively with these trillions coming through the SBA. But the fact that folks are getting laid off, no one wishes anyone harm. At the same time, you want an opportunity to fill that pipeline quick with folks who have done with the job market and want to take control of their, financial future and really own it.
Yeah.
Franchising is where you want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to start a hashtag like never again or something like that. It's just, I'll never let them do it to me again.
Well, we got franchising stronger together. That's the hashtag we're going after. We don't want to put franchising never again. That would not be good.
No, just never again.
Job never again, or employment never again, or boss never again. Something I like that. Good call. All right, Kelsey, as we wrap up, any further advice, insights, predictions, anything else you'd like to share with the franchisors out there?
Again, not a lot of frame of reference in this regard. The place where I think we've really done well, or that we've done our owners right, is paying attention to the environment directly in front of us and not sitting on our laurels or sitting on what was and thinking that, if you just sit back and wait, it'll all come back. It's interesting conversation around here because it's like there's a lot of conversation or daydreaming about when it goes back to what it was. And the truth is, what it was a month ago may not be what it comes back to on the other side. And so the only thing I can really say is, we used to have a phrase that says, if you take care of the customer, the money will follow. And in this case, our customers are the franchise owners. And if we do that and focus our efforts to make sure that they are truly loved on and built up and set up for success, then we have every reason to expect that we're going to succeed as a franchisor.
Well, you may be in a new-ish franchisor, but the wisdom right there was super solid, my friend. The franchisors who are taking care of their babies, not trying to hatch some new babies, Well, that's part of the business. You want to continue your pipeline and not totally kill it, and you continue to do your friend dev marketing, etc. But those who are focused on taking care of the folks that have entrusted them with their livelihood are the ones that will succeed and exceed astronomically, because you're not going to award, or in some cases sell, a single franchise without positive validation. Positive validation comes from the franchisees knowing you care, and that you've given and you've supported them, and you are in it with them as a partnership, not an autocracy that's dictating from above. So well said, sir. Thank you. Kelsey Stuart, Bloomin' Blinds franchise organization on COVID-19. Franchisors respond. Franchise leaders, respond. I'm your host, Red Boswell with IFPG. Thanks again for joining us today, guys.